This week, the ABC was grilled at Senate estimates over the outrageous, opaque and bizarre decision to use your money to cover the personal legal bills of their reporter, Louise Milligan. Now, Milligan defamed Liberal MP Andrew Laming on her personal Twitter account, and the ABC forked out roughly $200,000 covering her legal fees, including a $79,000 defamation payout to Dr. Laming himself. Well, the ABC was never even served. All litigation was directed at Milligan, and the ABC has previously said that journalists are responsible for their own tweets. So why on earth was your money used to cover her private conduct?
Would you agree with the statement that the ABC is not editorially responsible for an individual on their personal Twitter account?
Yes, Senator. Sorry, the audio there is quite soft, but yes, if you said that, I would agree that an ABC staff member is, or the ABC is not responsible for what an individual would tweet on their personal social media account. Yes.
So why is it that you told the Auditor General that in relation to Ms Milligan's tweet that there was the potential for the ABC to be vicariously liable?
Senator, look, I know there's been a lot of commentary on this matter, and yes, the Auditor General's letter does say that. The facts of the matter, simply put, are these: that I had legal advice from my General Counsel that the circumstances of this case for the ABC, that the ABC could be vicariously liable for the tweets made on a private social media account, and that we could be very well joined to proceedings later on had that escalated.
So Milligan was given public funds to pay off a personal legal bill because the ABC has vague legal advice claiming it could be vicariously liable for her tweets. Keeping in mind the ABC was never issued a concerns notice and Dr. Laming had never even indicated his intent to sue the ABC. But this is how the ABC does business. It seems to have ample money to pay for arguably inappropriate expenses while complaining it doesn't have a big enough budget. And David Anderson himself has used his own network to cry poor about budget constraints and job losses, which, for the record, seem to never have happened. Here he was in June last year talking about the national broadcaster's supposed financial woes.
David Anderson, welcome.
Hi, Patricia.
250 jobs will be lost at the ABC. Can you outline specifically from where they'll come from?
No, Patricia, I can't. Look, we've entered into a process of consultation and proposal that we've put to the organisation. And it is up to 250 with the proposals that we've gone forward with. Very difficult day for a lot of people at the ABC.
And this week at the Senate, how did ABC Chief Financial Officer Melanie Kleyn defend using your money to bail Milligan out of a mess of her own making?
It is an absolutely correct point that there was no specific legal obligation, and you know, that was very clearly detailed also in the letter from the ANAO. You know, in the course of running the organisation, there are a lot of expenses that we incur without an express legal obligation. So it's a matter of assessing and making the best decisions for the organisation in the running of the organisation, which in this circumstance, that was what was done. So with all of the information in front of us, with the advice from the General Counsel, with external advice with regard to the matter, in weighing up all of the things that were in front of us, we can only look and sort of figure out, okay, what's the best course of action at this point in time for the ABC?
I couldn't believe this when I heard it. The ABC is directly saying that it prioritises the benefit of the ABC over the correct use of your tax dollars. This bureaucracy of self-preservation is everything that is wrong with the ABC. If litigation, and private litigation at that, embarrasses the ABC or harms the ABC's reputation, then your money should be used to fix that image problem. Now that is an egregious misuse of public funds, and if it's allowed under the Act needs to be rewritten. These public servants who throw around more than $1 billion of your money in pursuit of their ideological mission need to be stopped. And if we don't do that, the Louise Milligans of this world will continue to get away with spreading slanderous misinformation on social media while you pick up the tab. Now let's bring in the panel. I'm joined by James Morrow, Federal Political Editor at the Daily Telegraph, and Caleb Bond at the Herald Sun. Caleb, what really bothers me about this flagrant misuse of public money is that the ABC could have used this $200,000 to pay for 2 or 3 regional journalists to cover issues that Australians actually care about.
That's right, and that's exactly what the ABC should be doing, and it's what the ABC does best. I mean, you know, I've said it many times and many others have as well, but the ABC is there basically to provide a service that the commercial media cannot provide. And time again it tries to compete with commercial media, spends exorbitant amounts of money doing that. You know, it takes out advertising on Google, so its stories, which of course are not paywalled because they compulsorily take money from us to fund themselves, rank better on Google than those that come from the Sydney Morning Herald or the Advertiser or the Herald Sun or any other outfit in this country for that matter. And with people like Milligan, who has now cost the ABC a fair bit of money, not only with lambing, but with Christian Porter, there has to be a time where you say we cannot do this anymore. You know, they're operating essentially like they were a commercial media outfit. A commercial media outfit, like the one that runs Sky News or Channel 9, which runs the Fairfax newspapers, for instance, they get their money from their consumers because the consumers choose to pay for the product. And they get money from advertisers. They have to make their own money. There's a commercial imperative to do so. The ABC goes cap in hand to the government. The government robs that money from you at tax time, hands it over to the ABC, and you have no choice in the matter. So they are, as much as the ABC would like to think it's not, the ABC is subject to different rules to the rest of the media, and they have to consider that in the way they spend their money. But they think they are a commercial media outfit. And it's about time that the federal government stepped in. And I know the ABC doesn't like this because they claim it's editorial interference. It's not editorial interference to tell the ABC that they need to watch their P's and Q's and they need to be sensible with taxpayers' money. It's not just revenue they get, it's taxpayers' money, and they should treat it like any other government department ought to.
James Morrow, I know you've been watching this very carefully. What's your take?
Well, look, those estimates hearings we saw the other night were absolutely stunning. I don't think I've seen an estimates hearing get that contentious against the ABC. Remember, it wasn't just Eric Abetz and some others who were taking the managing director to task over the Louise Milligan matter. Even Labour senators like Tony Sheldon went after them over the documentary that accused former New South Wales Premier Neville Wran of having some sort of role in the Luna Park ghost train fire. There is a real sense now, I think, that the ABC is absolutely out of control. That Four Corners in particular is the sort of the vanguard hit squad for any sort of target that the left and that the ABC does not like, which is why, you know, they always go after the Christian Porters and the Cardinal Pells and the Andrew Lammings and so many other people. I think, though, that Managing Director David Anderson has some real questions to answer, and he has, I think, a very big problem, because one of the issues that was raised in the hearings was this money, were these benefits which were paid to Louise Milligan to deal with a problem that was created, as Senator Abetz said, on her own frolic, were these monies given to her subject to fringe benefits tax? So we could actually see, you know, more than $100,000 more in liability to the ABC, which is kind of small in one sense when you think about, you know, the $1 billion+ budget that they get. But it is a lot of money when you think about the fact that in terms of the governance and the probity around this, there were a lot of questions about when was the board informed? Did the board approve this, or did the managing director approve this under his own delegation? This just goes to the heart of questions that there are real concerns about the way the entire ABC is being run. Is it being run effectively? Is it being run properly with our taxpayer money? I would think that the answer is starting to look increasingly in the negative on that. And I think that these hearings are going to raise a lot more questions that journalists are going to be interrogating over the next days and weeks and months to come.
Yeah, no, well put, James. You raised some good points, and I agree with you. The thing that jumped out at me is you can't have it both ways. So he says that, no, the journalists, it's their personal accounts. We can't stop them from tweeting nonsense. But at the same time, he says, well, vicariously, we're actually liable if they're tweeting even slightly, if the tweet even slightly pertains to an issue that they've covered in the past. That, to me, would suggest that he's going to have to tell them all to get off Twitter, or the Australian taxpayers are liable for every single tweet that broadly refers to work. So it is a massive issue.